is Iowa State a potential dark horse for the college football playoffs this year? What's going on, guys? Welcome back to The Reef with Jack Reefer, and I got another banger video for you guys. But first, like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think, and let's be special, baby. Let's be special. So Iowa State, on paper, they are the best team that I can remember them ever having, and possibly that they've ever had in program history. They've got potential All-Americans on both sides of the ball. They've got a quarterback who's coming back for his senior year, and they look pretty darn good. Now, obviously, they have to go through the Big 12 first, and they have to avoid another slip-up like last year. They lost their first game to Louisiana, so they have to avoid that. But I just wanted to go through and kind of give you guys what I think is the weakest and strongest aspects of their team on both sides of the ball, because I think they have a chance to be special this year. So, on offense, let's start with what I think is their weakest aspect. So, their offense was ranked 16th in the nation last year, which is pretty good. Pretty good, darn good, honestly. But that issue is when you want to get into the playoffs, you need to be one of the top teams. So I think that offensive efficiency is kind of one of their problems, though. Hear me out, though. The reason for this is that it's just not where they want to be. Specifically, if you look at their touchdown rate on offense, they ranked 24th in the nation, which, once again, pretty darn good. But then you look at who's ahead of them, and two teams that are ahead of them when they were at 24th were Texas and Oklahoma. And you got to beat both those teams to get through the Big 12 and make it to the playoffs. But I think they have the potential to. So obviously, I think offensive efficiency may be a problem. So there were times last year when it felt like the offense was kind of stalling. I know they kind of came to life towards the end of the year, but there were sometimes Brock just wasn't pushing the ball downfield enough. Yeah. Their strength, pretty obvious, run game. When you got potential All-American Breece Hall running the ball for you 20 times plus a game, dude's an absolute stud. And that offensive line, they got some good dudes coming back, anchored by fifth-year senior left tackle Sean Foster. That offense could be nasty. They got a stud tight end too, one of the top ranked in the country. Very good. Now defense, I'm sure a lot of you know, they got a special player on defense. But two dudes that really stand out are Mike Rose at linebacker, who's a stud, and then defensive lineman Will McDonald. Now, strengths, when you got the preseason Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year on your team, you have to give the strength to that unit. So their strength is the linebacker group. I mean, Mike Rose is an absolute animal. He's just making highlight plays, absolute stud. I think he's going to be primed for a big year. And they were pretty good against the run last year. Now, the weakness on defense, that's the secondary, unfortunately. I know they have some good players. They had some good play in the secondary, but the issue in the Big 12 is just an air raid type conference where people are just dipping and dunking, kind of warm you up, a little play action, and they're going to hit you the long ball, and they're trying to rack up those points, which goes back to what I was talking about with their touchdown rate. In the Big 12, you need that to be higher to get through that gauntlet. And I think they have the potential to. I mean, they got Brock coming back this year. They got Breece Hall coming back this year. They got some dudes on offense. But in the secondary, there's not really a huge playmaker that at least stands out to me. Let me know in the comments if you guys think differently, but at least to me, there's not a huge playmaker that I view as a game changer, let's say. But I think the Big 12 could be wide open this year. I mean, Texas is rebuilding, but when are they not rebuilding? They haven't been relevant since Vince Young was there. But Texas is going to Texas. But Oklahoma's getting a lot of hype. This is their year, apparently, with Spencer Rattler. But I think Spencer Rattler is vulnerable. I made a video about him before, and I know that some people did not agree with me on it. But I'm not denying the kid has talent. I'm not denying that at all. I just think he just has some decision-making and some maturity things that are kind of questionable at times. I kind of view him similar to a Jameis Winston. Jameis' talent, undeniable. but his decision making and maturity, questionable. That's kind of how I view Spencer Rattler. I mean, you can go back to my old video and hear me talk about that more. But anyways, the Big 12 wide open, and this is the golden year for Iowa State. This is when they got dudes coming back that could have gone to the NFL, could have left, but they're coming back, and they look pretty darn strong. And we kind of see it year after year. I mean, you get the usual Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson in the playoffs, but that fourth team, it switches around, you know. It was Washington, Michigan State, Ohio State, Notre Dame. That fourth spot, it switches in and out sometimes. And I think there's real potential for Iowa State to be a dark horse candidate to sneak in there. But hey, let me know who you guys think in the comments below. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. And let me know if there's anything you guys want me to talk about specifically. Thank you. Have a great day. Tell somebody you love them. Deuces.